friends, it's Andrea from Praise Guy DIY, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba, Canada. WTF, it is time for What's the Fold? I'm playing with a fold that I haven't done before, and it was a little bit mind-bendy, and I needed to try it a few times before it made sense in my head. But it is really easy. All you need is one piece of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using Doggone Friendly for our stamped image today, and I've got the happy birthday sentiment from Inked and Tiled that I'll be using. So let's jump right on into it. Now I do have my little cheat sheet template here, and it did require a little bit of extra mathing on my part today. So we've got our cardstock cut at, as I said, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. You're going to score it down the center line. So 4 1/2 means you're going to score it at 2 1/8. And I'm just going to go ahead and burnish here. Grab a handy dandy bone folder. And then after you've got it scored, now I always do my cuts before I burnish because I want to make sure that it's laying flat and doing exactly what I want it to do. But what I did was I measured from the edge to 1 inch in, the edge to 1 inch in, and then I just cut down to the score line on both. And then on the opposite side, you're going to cut halfway. Honestly, this cut can probably be done anyway, as long as it's between these two parts. But if you do tweak where you have your cut line, you are going to have to tweak the measurements for the designer series paper that I've cut. And then you're going to take it from the edge just to that score line. And this is what I have for the template. Now, this is called the Impossible Card, and it is a little bit of a mind bender. So what I did was I laid it flat, and then you just take one edge and twist it around. And then your card will be exactly how it needs to be. Now, I am going to be decorating both sides of the base, but I'm not decorating both sides because I want to have some space to write a message on this side. But this is great if you have a stamp or something that you want to have kind of as the focal point, because this part does pop up and it does stay up as well. So our pieces here that I have cut, so we'll start with our piece of basic white that is going to have our stamped image on it. And this is cut at 3 1/4 inches by 2. I have got 4 pieces cut at 1 inch by, see if I can find my cheater, 2 1/4. And then I've got these little pieces here that are cut at 2 5/8 by 2 inches. So let's get to assembling this guy. This is the Earthen, what is this paper mat called? Earthen Elegance. That's what I was going to say, but I wanted to double check and make sure I had it right. Move the stamp out of the way for a second. And I'm going to be coloring today with our watercolor pencils. I haven't used those in a dog's age. And I am using non-directional designer series paper, mostly because, actually, I'm going to do these guys first because they're a little bit longer. Actually, I'm going to trim that because I think it'll look a little bit odd to have this one have a little bit of a space around and then have this other one go completely. So I am going to trim it just a tiny little bit. Ruler. So this is actually going to be cut at 2 inches. So I will change that. And I will have a graphic as well over on my blog that has the cut lines and the score lines. And now we have bits and pieces stuck. You know what? It is absolutely a WTF Wednesday. All right, stay there. So yeah, I like non-directional paper mostly because then the brains don't have to be quite so active. Excuse me. Plop this guy down. And this one. And then we'll just add our other pieces here super quick. I like to tape everything and then apply it all in one shot. I should have enough to last me. It never fails. I usually do end up running out of tape at some point. Usually on a video, usually when I'm live. Okay, and I am going to take this right to the edge because I'm not messing with 1/8 of an inch on a tiny little piece of paper that I've already cut. Now, as long as it doesn't impede the flip, we're good. If it does impede the flip, we'll just grab a pair of scissors and give it a tiny little bit of a trim. Looks like that one needs to be trimmed a tiny bit. And then pull this guy up a little. There we go. Now, grab our paper trimmer and give it a quick little perfect. We are good to go. All right, so to do that flip again, you're just going to lay it flat and bring one of the pieces up, and then the other one is going to stay down. Come on. Okay. And sometimes you need a little bit of an extra bit of a tutorial. There we go. Told you it was a little bit mind-bendy, but once you play with it a few times, you'll get it. So then we've got our spanner piece that's going to give it a little bit of stability and make sure that it's not going to go anywhere when we have our sentiment attached. So let's see, just want to make sure that this guy's going to fit, and he does. All right, so we're going to do our happy birthday on one. The other one I'm just going to leave blank because it'll be the back of the card. We'll do happy birthday in memento. Now we're going to have a little bit of adhesive on each edge of our spanner, and we're going to make sure that it's not going to overflow. Oops. But if it does, oh perfect. All you need to do is give it a bit of a rub. If you wanted to give it a little bit of added security, you can add a spanner piece on the other side as well. I'm just going to do this guy. And then put this one here. You could also link it together with some of the designer series paper if you had a small strip or another coordinating piece. So now we're going to do our image and get our card finished. So this is a full-size stamp. I am just doing a portion of it. I'm going to grab our memento again, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to be. I think we'll do this side. Now, I'm not inking up the entire stamp, I'm just doing a little piece, and it's easier for me for the bigger ones, actually for most of the stamps actually, I like to do ink pad to the stamp because it helps me avoid halos and it helps me control the pressure a little bit better. And actually, I think I'm going to do this guy here, the shepherd looking dog. And then we'll just drop one corner of it and then gently lay it across, give it a bit of a rub. This also helps me figure out where I'm going to place my paper. And you do want to be careful to make sure that you're not wiggling too much. And then just lift up. And there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight probably these two. I'm going to leave everybody else black and white. Move our cutting template off to the side here. So I'm going to use gray, brown. I think we'll do Granny Apple Green for the scarf. Oops, Flirty Flamingo for the tongue. And let's see, what else do I basic black and a little bit of black, I think. And a blender pen to blend all of our colors together. Put this guy back where it belongs. So with the coloring pencils, it's not terribly challenging to color with them. I really love them because it's quick and it's easy. What color is this? Oh, this is Cajun Craze. I needed early espresso as well. There we go. Oh, helps if it's, and I don't have my pencil sharpener close. Early espresso. I actually have two sets, so even if the tip is broken on one, usually I can find the other one. And then with our pencils, we're just going to kind of do a quick and dirty color. And then the blender pen is going to take care of all of the color manipulation and making sure that those pencil lines are completely hidden. And we'll do a little tiny bit of pink in the ears. Granny Apple Green for his scarf. And then our little shepherd guy, I think we're going to do mostly gray with a little bit of black thrown in. Super quick and easy. Do a little bit of green for his tag here. And black. Do his eyebrows. And then just kind of go over wherever there's a little bit of a kind of a natural shading, shadowing, or emphasis area is usually where I add. And we'll do a little tiny bit of pink in his ears, just super light. And then grab our blender pen. And I like to do all of the same colored areas first. And just kind of pick that up. And then when you're done, just wipe it off before you move to the next area so that there's not as much or any color transfer. And then just, I like to do circles to kind of help hide some of those lines a bit. Now with Memento, you will get a little bit of the ink bleeding. I don't think it's a big deal for stamps like this where there's, you know, multicolored possibilities for the critters anyway. Actually, I think he needs a little bit more brown, a little bit less kind of that orangey color. There. That's a bit better. Grab our blender pen again and we'll work on this guy. So you can see that in the areas that I don't have as much ink or pencil, sorry, that it's a little bit lighter. Areas that I have a little bit more of the pencil, it's a little bit darker. And then you just keep building up the color. It stays on your brush, so you can move the color into the areas that you want it to show up in. Clean off my brush, and then we're going to go ahead into the Granny Apple Green. And we're just going to highlight these two. Back into my case so I don't lose them. And then we're going to add a little bit of adhesive, and our card is pretty much done. Oops. So that is the Impossible card. So really kind of fairly easy once you can get your head wrapped around how it needs to go. Just going to go and add a few little adhesives around, or adhesives. I'm gonna add a little bit of bling. Whoops. Add a little bit of bling. We don't need to fling it. Oh my gosh, these guys are just completely live wire today. Okay, seriously, they're jumping everywhere. And then we'll do a couple on this side. I like odd numbers, so we'll add 4 on the top, 3 on the bottom. All right, so there is our Impossible card. So it will fit into a standard envelope. There is no puzzling for the people who are going to be getting the card to try to figure out how it's going to go. And it's a beautiful little pop-up card. I hope you enjoyed. If you attempted, I would love to see your sample over on my page. As always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you spending some time with me today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.